Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Club on a Wednesday morning. Thank you for your flexibility and me moving that around. I have a new job starting next week. Very exciting. I'm going to be working at Mind. I'm working for the Mums in Mind project, leading that. So like another 19 hours that I'm going to have to find in my week. And very excited, but I just got swept up Saturday in some overwhelm. Looking at the diary, going, and I always talk about how I experience seasons, and absolutely love summer. I've shared this in my course, but for me, when we start returning to the light, I feel like more is expected of me, and it's like I don't feel like I've hibernated. I don't feel like I've like retreated at all this winter, and we're at that halfway point. I'm going to practice what I preach. Escape to a little shepherd's hut. It's beautiful. I'm going to pop some stuff on Instagram, but for now, welcome to your Wednesday morning club. Let's just start with some breath. Let's just arrive. Hand on heart, hand on belly. Nice deep breath in. Out through the nose or the mouth. Let's just do 8 rounds. Nice deep breath in and release. Just inhale and exhale at your own pace. Just keep going for an 8 rounds deep breath practice. This is just a lovely way to wake up. Just filling up the air, filling up the lungs, fresh new energy. On the exhale, really make sure you're expelling all of that air if you have got any breathing difficulties, asthma, chest infection. Don't push it too much, it will trigger quite a bit of coughing, although arguably could help with some clearing if it's chest infection, not asthma. But let's take this last one together, around the last one. Nice deep breath in, all that brand new oxygen, waking up, and exhale. Okay. Allow that. If you want any movement, empty the body of that breath, bringing it in as well. You might want to play around with some arm movements as you breathe in, you breathe out, just really waking everything up. So today, what we're going to talk about is technology. It's quite amazing. But yeah, it's attention and technology. I think we've all got experience of this. Technology is great. Okay, this is not I don't think we should be using technology. It's incredible. I'm using it now to deliver this. It is so good. But what I'm hearing more and more and more with clients from myself, and this has really landed heavy with me. I've started looking towards this and like researching it more. When I worked in GAMCO, it was a lot to do with phone addiction there. The training is going in, so people that work in addictions are being trained quite heavily now in digital detoxes and addictions. So it's always kind of sparked a bit of an area of interest. But for me personally, these last few weeks, I've really gone down a rabbit hole with it, because I'm starting to think about like training menopause, or like, that there's a couple of things, and people are like, oh, it could be perimenopause. And I'm like, oh yeah, it could be. And one of the things is like forgetting, that brain fog. It's really hard to tease out the two. I've got, like I hear it so much, but the pivotal point for me of like, okay, I really need to start addressing this is when I'm hearing my girls say, oh, I forgot, or how is it that time? Because the time has just gone because they've been on their phone playing a game or they've been chatting or something, and it is just taking our time. So we are becoming so reliant upon um, digital technology. If you think about like maps, we used to use maps to get to places. I'm of the era which was, I remember my dad going, what are you doing that for? Just get a map. I used to print out a route planner. Imagine that now. It's just on my phone, like maps on my phone. We don't even need a sat nav, do we? It's all inbuilt in these things. So we've outsourced memory. How many numbers did you used to remember? I still remember like my friends' phone numbers from primary school, like yeah, 01543 571 09999 09571 099. That was my nan's number. Like 503649. I can remember those. Is that useful? No. I'm not saying we should be retaining kind of like the hundreds of phone numbers that are in here. But that's one little task for today. Just think about like how many numbers you do know. And like, do you know your like that kind of best friend, significant other, parent? Do you know their mobile number, your children's number off by heart? Again, like the shock when these things don't work. Everything is on there. I often leave the house without a wallet these days. Grab my phone, grab my keys, get out there. I can pay on this. I once had a panic on my way to London. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten to pick up my wallet. It didn't matter because I just used this thing. So we become so reliant. So one of my things, and I'm going to do this too, is learn my children's phone numbers off by heart. So they're just there in my memory. Like I say, we don't need that. Is good. It's freeing up storage space in our brain. It's doing some of the thinking for us that we don't necessarily need to do. With the rise of AI, we're doing a lot of this at the moment. There's so much stuff coming out about the ethical use of it with transcribing notes and therapy, um, this massive decline call for therapists because a lot of people are just asking their AI person for help with their life and all the rest of it. So it's on the rise, it's massive, and let's be aware of it. I'm not saying let's not be scared of it. It's amazing. It's like a fire. If you think of a fire, it's great. A fire can warm the home, it can cook the food, it's an incredible source. However, it also has the potential to burn our house down. And this is where I feel that we are with technology. You know, let us use it. At the moment, I think a lot of us are in a position where technology is using us. The concentration, of just sat there like doing an email with that ping ping. Oh, I just get that. Oh, actually, I didn't reply to that, and we're off down a rabbit hole. So I really want us to think about today this kind of how much are we using it for our own being or how much for our own like ease or how much is it using us? Because we are outsourcing so much of our human skills, the brain complexity. Need to have a look at like the rise of, attention deficit disorder. I mean, inarguably, there is a strong correlational link between that and the use of phones. I I subscribe to all these kind of like marketing your business and, getting your business out there. I subscribe to them and don't know a lot about them. But they're always telling me, get reels, YouTube shorts. Make sure your story isn't like less than isn't longer than a certain time. It's when I started this, I remember the story, it was short amount of space. Used to say, like, make sure your story or your reel isn't longer than, I can't remember the exact, but let's say 15 seconds. Now it's like 7. That's not factually correct, by the way. There's been an actual massive decline. Um, so that is because we're not retaining. We are not, we're just flicking through, flicking through. So it's having a profound impact on our brain, on our memory. And like I say, just doing something like mesmerizing. I was quite mesmerized this morning when the alarm went off at 5:30. But yeah, memorizing phone numbers. The other thing that really, really concerns me is the loss of instinct. As you know, those that have worked with me for a while talk so much about that. Does it feel like a yes? Does it feel like a no? Like, what is your gut telling you? Like that inner wisdom. It's in our bones, it's running through our veins. We are a culture where it's like, I don't know, I'll ask Google. Um, with AI now, I think sorry if I have mentioned this before, and I have got his consent, no, like confidentials are disclosed here, but he's like, yeah, you can talk about it if you want. I've got an amazing client who is in his very early 30s and he literally is running his relationship from Chat GPT. Bless him. Like, I mean, I feel honoured that he's working with me and not Chat GPT. Um, but he's asking the question like, my girlfriend seems mad at me. I arrived 10 minutes late to our house. What should I do? Apologize, meet her where she's at. It is frightening. AI is now like using metaphors. It's the complexity of how it's working. Like I said, I'm not against technology, but the way in which it's using us and taking our power away is how I see it. We are losing so many skills. So yeah, so as I always work with instinct and that kind of, all the answers are within us. We just need to stop and connect to self. Um, you know, just connecting. So I'll bring it in here actually. I'm just aware of time that um that loss of instinct, giving our power away, not acting from a place of we're losing confidence. God, I'm not sure. I'm just going to check. And my niece is now, she'll be 17 in a few weeks. I remember when she was probably about 10 and she was doing some sort of homework on the tutors or something. And she turned to like my sister was telling her like some facts or oh, well, this happened because of this, and there's lots of Tudor buildings in Stratford or whatever it was. And she was like, are you sure? I'm going to Google it. Oh, really? So we're really losing that ancestral learning, generational learning, wealth. We're discrediting elders. Anyway, let's just go back to what we can do because I could talk about this for hours and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Um, 4 pillars to connect with instincts. These are things in a morning. I love working with elements, fire, earth, water, and air. So in the morning, there's loads of biohacking with like infrared light and stuff, and grounding mats. but ultimately I think the best source is nature. So fire, get some sunlight in your eyes. These are just daily little short habits you can do, and it's going to develop that connection to you because you're doing something, but you're developing that practice, but also connecting to nature. I think yourself and nature, when we can alchemize that strength, that confidence, that intuition will start to flourish. So fire, I want you to get in some light into your eyes. I know we haven't got much sunlight at the moment and it's pretty dark. But even just that light, that daylight, even on a grey day, just absorbing some light. Um, earth. I'm thinking, right, fire, earth, grounding. Just barefoot outside. Um, I've got a patio out here. I haven't got grass. I still do it. Still just stand. I mean, grass and sand is best. That's not available to me when I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I just barefoot on the patio. Still, the intention, that grounding is there to earth myself. The research again on grounding, again, biohacking, there's grounding mats you can get now that stimulate, it mimics that earth effect of the ions. And I know that with the patio slab, I'm not getting that same one, but that practice in the morning is enough of that intention. And then when I, go to the beach or get to a forest or even just pull over somewhere, at least I've done something, for that day. So, um, fire, earth, air, some breath work, check your posture, especially while we're sitting. We're doing this, we're reducing our lung capacity by up to 20% from posture. Oh, too, and pop a little red, those little red stickers or something on your laptop that when you see it or in your workspace that you go, posture, could be anything. You can pop a little candle. There's always a candle around here, but you could pop something that's, like your daily intention. That's like, oh, that's my reminder to check my posture or to take some deep breaths, like 5 deep cleansing breaths. But in the morning, if you can, just some breath. It doesn't have to be a long, complex breath work session, just some box breathing while the kettle's boiling. Yeah, that's your air. Just get that oxygen. So if we and I do it, like I'll start off with a good posture and then I creep and it's like, oh yeah, just try and open it up, open my chest up, get some air in there. And the other is water. I wanted to go, oh, and there's a nice glass of water. It's not some good tea. Um, but if you can hydrate, not if you can, we can all hydrate. A good quality, if you've got a filter or I just bought one of those filters that go onto the taps. It's a little bit clunky. It's not ideal, but I was starting to spend a fortune on the actual filters and I don't really want to get into bottled water because of the amount of plastic that we'd get through. So hydration, the access to air and water and our energy levels, make sure that you are hydrating. So there's the 4 pillars of connecting to instinct. I'm well aware that I've gone off on a tangent from the digital, the technology. So I've got 4 Ds for this digital. First, we need to disconnect. I'm going to silly bang this now because I've only got about 5 minutes left. So disconnect is about creating that intentional space between our digital devices, especially these, and social media. So our connection to these, and again, I can vouch for it. I had was it like 36? I don't think it was quite 48 hours, just took that break. I didn't totally detox from it because I didn't. I'm still running a business. It's still, yeah. Um, but it was significantly reduced. If you can, creating a space, I used to be really good at this, and I'm going to make this vouch here. Like, you guys can hold me accountable. I used to have a daily practice of walking the dog. It's not for a walk right now. Look, he didn't even lift his head when he was saying the W word. Um, he actually looks more like a rabbit, doesn't he? That kind of like fetal position. Bless him. Um, I used to walk the dog every day without taking that with me. Confidence, fear. This is where it's entrapping us because the first time I did it, I was like, what if I fall over? Like, I'm 44, I'll probably get back up again and be fine. I'm not going far. I'm not going off on a hike mountain. What if school ring me? Okay, well, I'm only going on a 15-minute walk. If I was in a client session, this is off for an hour. We meetings, times where disconnect is forced. We can manage that fear. I'm in a meeting, can't have my phone on. So go out if you can go out for like 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, leave it behind. See so many people. And I know that I've done it myself. I actually use the dog walk for a time to catch up, sending voice notes. Helen, if you're catching up on this recording, bless her, she's always a great receiver of my podcasts that I send. But disconnect, just keep that little bit of space. Okay, so disconnect is your first one. And you can like just certain hours of the day where it's off, not having it at the dinner table. It's another thing, like mindless eating, like I'm sitting down. I don't know when it happened. It crept up so quickly, like a wildfire. I was like, oh, it now feels strange when I'm not when I'm in company, but when I'm on my own and I'm having some breakfast or some lunch, I have to consciously put my phone away. And it's like, oh, just eating. I'm on my own. Just eat because I realise that again, I'm catching up on scrolls, I'm catching up on messages, not looking at the task in hand. So meal times is a big one. Just disconnect, put some boundaries in. So the second D is detox. This is I've taken this from Jim Quick. Might send a link actually. He's done who's recently on a podcast. Anyway, detox involves like clearing all that clutter, the inboxes. I've got one and it's got like over 1,000 emails in it. I've seen that notification. Um, but it drains energy and our attention. So think about digital minimalism. Okay, so getting rid of apps, subscriptions that don't add value. We've all been there where we've clicked on something, it's like, oh, you've got to download the app. Doing that like continuing browser, you don't need an app for everything. And then you might have needed an app to complete a purchase, even parking the bloody car now. You need an app for it. So going through the ones that it's like, actually, I don't know what that is, like I mean, I've got an eBay one. I haven't been on eBay for about 3 years. That one can go. Got ones from like games from when those girls didn't have their own phones. They can go. Anyway. So really thinking about your digital tools, how are they supporting you to achieve goals or not? Are they useful? Sleep trackers. Again, we have a fine line. Like, how useful is it to know how well that we have slept? I know that I've got a Garmin watch, and I have to be really mindful around my usage of that because I can get quite obsessed. Like it's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, how many hours sleep have I had? So things like I've started to take that off, because there's the curiosity of like, how long have I spent in REM sleep? How long have I been deep sleeping? Doesn't really matter, does it? It's like, do I feel refreshed? So what was happening? I was like, oh, I've only had like 6 hours 50. Oh, I'm really tired. I'm telling myself I'm tired. I'm starting the day tired because I've been told I'm tired. Those little things, just be really mindful. Steps. Currently, I'm a little bit obsessed with steps. Some cats going off outside, so I'm apologising if he gets up and starts barking. Digital boundaries. So this is limits of your usage. Um, so this is when you use it, specific times of the day to check email and social media. I have one inbox that I rarely use, but the school I've got that. So I'll check it like every other day. Because they've also got an app. Of course they have. Um, at a certain time. So implementing, I really do think this, like no screens an hour before bed. My daughter yesterday, she didn't know where her phone was. She's pretty good actually. She she was going to bed and I said, is your phone on charge? We've all got like charging points outside the on the landing. Do you want me to put your phone on charge? She was like, I don't know where it is. Brilliant. And she has been on an iPad. But she was like, I don't even know where my phone is. Brilliant. Okay, but let's make sure it's not lost. Found her phone, made the mistake, like, oh, here it is. She looked at it and she'd got like notifications and she was engaged then. And I was like, oh, it's bedtime. And there was yeah, anyway, not going into it, but it can just, that one notification, I did it this morning at 5:30, there was one from my admin job logged in. And I was like, what are you doing? Logged in to rectify this email that had been sent. So really thinking about no screens an hour before bed, but also not the first hour of waking either. I know that I'm doing this digitally. Um, Deliberate use. Okay, so this is focusing on using technology with purpose. So we're not passively or habitually using it because that's when it starts using us. So we don't become the pilot. We're not the pilot of this plane anymore. Um, we're being driven by it. And this is, looking at how many pickups a day, and that kind of um screen time. You can set quite a clear goal with that. So it's being mindful. The one question I always say to the girls, when you reach for your phone, ask your question, what am I picking this up for? What do I want from this? Because I do it, pick it up. I'm like down a rabbit hole. Looking on Instagram, using the limits, using your limits. So, and taking that break. Do like occasionally do a digital detox. I'm going to try and implement a day where I don't post or I don't go on Instagram. And just see, because I've got this belief now, well, I have to be on my business and I have to be sharing stories all the time. Do I though? Because a lot of people that, there's, yeah, people that are, and not everyone, but people that interact with stories, it's still going to be there like 6 days a week. If I just take one day away, I don't think it's going to impact my business. A lot of my business comes from word of mouth anyway. That's not from interaction of stories. There are some Instagram, but it's a small percentage. So really thinking about having that digital detox, being present with where you are, like not even having the phone on the table at dinner. I know something actually, one of my guilty pleasures is first dates. I love Fred. First dates. and they'd actually addressed this and was like how it feels just having that phone on the table is like saying this is more important than this interaction, where it's two humans, two souls meeting for the first time. And if you've noticed, even if you've got that on the table, you'll look at it. But even if you put it face down so you can't see the notifications, it's still there. Just put it in your bag. Another one is driving. Can you stick it in the boot? Stick it in the glove box? Because it's still, I know, like, well, maybe it's just me with really bad habits. Um, but I've got this constant, like, what if it's school? What if it's the children? We don't need to be accessible 24/7, it could be a short journey. So yeah, but try and take that longer digital detox. Creativity, we're losing it. We're losing all of our creativity. And again, something I'm really guilty of, I really absolutely love like sketching and I'm not great at it. Um, but I don't have time because I don't allocate time. So things like, even think, oh yeah, I'll reply to that email. Half an hour's gone. Just, and again, I think I mentioned this maybe last week or the week before. If you're saying yes to something, what are you saying no to? Like that rings so true to me. Last night I'd done a course and I was like, oh, I'm going to set up a WhatsApp group. I'm going to send some resources. My youngest is full of cold, it's nothing serious, but she is feeling rubbish. I was like, I'll just do that. And I was like, no, because while I'm just doing this and saying yes to this, I'm saying no to her getting an earlier night 'cause she's waiting to tuk tuk. So those things, what are you saying yes to? When you say yes, what are you saying no to? And that's a big one for these phones. So I think that's it. I've gone over on time. I will leave it there. Bit of a digital detox, thinking about connecting to the elements. It's the confidence. This is what's really scaring me. It's like seeing that loss of confidence and intuition in clients as they're Googling something. Even someone said to me the other day, like, they'd always just done this recipe for some scones and now they're checking it. They're getting everything off BBC Good Food. We're just losing so much. And we're giving all of our power away to online platforms, fact checkers. It's frightening. And we're changing because of it. Our brains are changing, but also that memory, that not being able to hold focus, hold that attention. And I'm seeing that in me. Is that because, it's so easy to pass things off, be like, oh yeah, well, it's a sign of perimenopause, or it's just how things are these days. But really, get intentional on that. Right, I'm going to stop banging on. And I will see you all for meditation tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Take care.